Alright, welcome back to Hot Topics TV, y'all. If you've never been here before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. One of the things we do here on SouFLoTV is we follow these stories all the way through. So for instance, this story about Kayla Green, a teenage cheerleader who got into an altercation with another teen and subsequently lost her life in Mount Vernon, New York. This story, we would follow it all the way through the process to where the person who did it was caught, and then the court case and how the court case works out. Were they sentenced to prison? Did they walk free? Etc., etc. So we ask you to not only hit the subscribe button, but to also click the bell next to the subscribe button. Hover over that bell and hit the choice that says send me all notifications. That way you are notified when a new update to any one of the stories we have covered is posted to SouFLoTV. Alright, let me drag your memory on this particular story. This story was close to us because yes, we do all kinds of stories on SouFLoTV, but if it has anything to do with the Caribbean or Caribbean people from the Caribbean diaspora, that means any Caribbean island, then you know it's of more interest to us. This in particular was very interesting to us because it's the story of a immigrant parent. And a lot of us are just that. We weren't born in the United States of America or the UK or Canada. And for those of us who probably went when we were small or even were born there, we came up pretty much under our Jamaican roots or our Trinidadian roots or whatever island it is that we came from, right? Okay. So this story was interesting because this young girl, her mom's Jamaican, and I don't remember if she also was Jamaican and she was brought to America by her mom. Anyhow, the story is that she was excelling in school. She was doing exceptionally well. And y'all know how Caribbean parents emphasize education and excelling in athletics and whatever it is else. You make the family proud. For them, you make your mom proud, you make your dad proud, you make your grandparents proud. You show an example to your younger siblings, your sisters and brothers or cousins. They brag about you. And on the bigger stage, you represent Jamaica well, or your Caribbean island well, be it Trinidad or whatever outside of the island. So it's a big deal for us, right? A teenage girl pleaded guilty in the fatal stabbing of 16-year-old Mount Vernon cheerleader last year, prosecutors had announced previously. It was a 15-year-old girl who was not named because of her age. So if she was 18, they would have said her name. 18 and older. If she's under 18, she's considered a minor in the US. So they're not going to put her name or her face to a crime like this in the papers. Well, I've seen, that's neither here nor there, because we've seen these mass shooters going to schools and shoot up the whole school. They become mass murderers. They're 15 and 16, and they sure put their face. But for this particular case, they kept saying that because of her age, they would not reveal her face. She pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter in the stabbing death of Kayla Green during a large brawl after a parade in Mount Vernon in April. The Westchester County District Attorney's Office said the teen used a knife, stabbed Green multiple times in the stomach. This is what the prosecutor said, and Green was pronounced dead after she was rushed to the hospital. Now, Green, far as we know, as it was presented, she was also the captain of her school's junior varsity cheerleading team, while the defendant was part of an independent cheer club that Green also used to be a part of. So these teenage girls had a rivalry going on. Some people were saying it was about a boy that actually liked Green, that used to like the other girl until Green came on the scene. Then he liked Green more, and Green was giving him some attention, and the other girl didn't like it. Then, worse came to worse, Green elevated to the captain of a new cheerleading team, and that burnt her spirit. So when they saw each other, it was on sight, right? Cell phone footage of the incident showed a girl flashing a knife and swinging it openly in a mob of multiple young women that were fighting near the end of the parade. Remember, this was a parade that was going on, a huge parade. I believe the school that Green attended had won their 12th state championship. I think it was in football or basketball, one of those. And they were celebrating at this huge parade. And then this fight broke out. The parade was, okay, here's the information. So the parade was to recognize the boys basketball team at Mount Vernon High, which went undefeated that school year and won a state championship again. The city is known for its black basketball dominance with 12 state titles to boast. Today, when this article was written, the defendant was taken responsibility for ending the life of Kayla Green. And then it says the consequences were to be faced. The girl's sentencing at this time was scheduled for January 24th of 2023. Okay, let's fast forward with the information. So here we are, February 20th of 2023. And this happened in April of 2022. And the new update is that the New York teen will spend several years in jail after pleading guilty to the stabbing death of the rival cheerleader and cheerleader captain, Kayla Green. Emotional moment came Tuesday as a judge sentenced the 15-year-old cheerleader to 3 to 9 years behind bars. That means she cannot get anything less than 3, and she cannot get anything more than 9. 3 to 9 years behind bars. The girl pleaded guilty to the stabbing death of 16-year-old Kayla Green, the member of the rival cheerleading squad in Mount Vernon, New York. Kayla Green's mother, Laverne Gordon, who is Jamaican, she spoke in court after she spoke about the pain that she will forever feel for losing her promising daughter. Her daughter was not just the captain of the junior varsity cheerleading squad. Her daughter was also a honor roll student and a very brilliant girl. She was into schoolwork and she was into sports, athletics, cheerleading. That's it. This is like what every parent wishes for, right? Your child hit 16. You don't want to hear that. Your child, oh, my daughter start take man now because she's 16. Or my son is going wild now, mixing up with gangs or bad company in the community because he's 16 now. What you want to hear is exactly how Kayla Green was living. My daughter is the captain of the cheerleading squad. My daughter is a straight A honor roll student. My daughter has scholarships and she's heading off to university soon. My daughter is, these are the things that make you proud as a parent. So to lose a child like that, where she was just stabbed multiple times in the middle of a street somewhere, it's got to hurt. And I mean, losing any child is bad. Even the ones that are bad or get into bad things and die a certain kind of way, it still hurts, but it's different because it gives you time to process it. For instance, if your boy, your son, is getting into and following bad company, coming in high from school, he's hanging with the local gang. Next thing you know, he has tattoos on him that represents the gang. And next thing you know, police is calling his name. Then he gets his first arrest and then he's off to juvenile hall and he keeps on going. It's a steady progression in the wrong direction, which you can kind of brace yourself for over time. But in this particular case, there was no time for her mom to brace herself. No one expected this to happen to Kayla Green. She was not in anything that would have brought this into her life. Now, her killer, this is what her mom said. Her mom said her killer gets to get out in 3 years to live her life, have a family, have a career, all these nice things. My daughter will never see any of that. She was attacked after the rally that was held in Mount Vernon, like I explained earlier. And during that rally where the school was celebrating its 12th basketball state championship, the attacker, the 15-year-old armed with a knife, who had actually showed off her knife on social media earlier and talked about what she was going to do. I don't know how that didn't go over as premeditated because you showed the knife, you said what you were going to do, you went out in public, and you executed it, actually did it. It shows planning. It shows that you premeditated this murder. You planned to viciously attack her with a knife and cause bodily harm, injury, and you ended up taking her life. But for some reason, she got charged on a lesser charge and ended up with 3 to 9 years for a life, which I personally don't think is enough time. And I know she was 15, but so what? Many 15-year-olds are tried as adults. In this particular case, she was not. The motive, she said, is difficult to comprehend. A long-standing rivalry between two cheerleading squads in the city of Mount Vernon is what they are chalking this up to be. Kakea says that the defendant, who is not being named due to her age, they're still not mentioning her name, she had a history of violent conduct. She has a track record of being a violent person. A person with low grade average in school, a person that is a problem child, and she ended up taking the life of a high achieving, non-problematic student. Prosecutor said that there was no way to truly understand what set her on her deadly path. This was an intentional, senseless, vicious crime which has caused immeasurable pain. The 15-year-old expressed remorse in court. She was reading through her statement, and they said that while she was reading through her statement, she was crying. I think of all the different choices I could have made. These are her words, quote unquote. Now, an attorney helped her to write this. I think of all the different choices I could have made that day and would have left Kayla alive and saved my family this heartache. But that is why everyone is here today, because I made bad choices. The judge pointed to the hopeful sign, saying, the 15-year-old has been thriving in detention, and she hopes the teen is on a path to make something of her life. That is so messed up. I wanted to use the word effed up. Imagine that. You were a problematic child outside. Now that you're incarcerated, here's a judge saying she's been making positive strides while in detention. And I hope she's on a path to making something out of her life. To say that in front of a mother who just said, my daughter will never get to have a life after this. She won't know what it feels like to graduate high school and go off to college. She won't know what it feels like to date, get married, have children, any of that. Her life stopped. Was it 2 weeks or a week after her 16th birthday? Kayla's birthday had just happened. They had just done her Sweet 16 party, and she was dead shortly after. And it's sad. It's sad, and it's not sad on both sides. It's only sad on one side because I don't think justice was split fairly. Now, of course, there are a lot of people that are saying, listen, the girl that did it, of course, she is of another persuasion. Yeah. And the girl that lost her life, she's black. So a black life, obviously, ain't worth too much. Like I said, we've seen teenagers get lots of years in prison. And the fact that this young lady showed her knife on social media, then said what she was going to do, and then executed that plan, that was premeditated murder, and she should have been charged with exactly that, which would have gotten her a whole lot more time. But for some reason, she ended up with a deal and a manslaughter charge and 3 to 9 years. She's only 15. So she'll be getting out of prison if she does a whole 9 at about 24, 23, that type of stuff, 25, and she'll be fine. Her life will just be beginning for her. And this lady have lost her daughter forever. But this is the end of this, right? So we followed this one all the way through to the end. And if there is any more, like she's going crazy in lockup and she's adding on additional charges and she'll be there for longer than 9 years, we'll have those updates too. But we'll leave it right where it's at right now. And my condolences goes out to Kayla's mom, and that's all I can say. Even those words aren't enough to console after losing a daughter like that. So Laverne Gordon, we stand with you, we salute you, we honor you, and we weep with you. May your daughter Kayla Green rest in eternal peace. I'm out. Peace.